So I kind of felt that everybody was a little bit confused last class, and I might have overwhelmed you. For that, I am sorry. But we did kind of go over a lot of this stuff last semester before the quarantine, and we'll try it again. Okay, so we'll do this one more time. If you could kindly just follow along, you can ignore this. I don't know why that's there, but at any rate, the first and foremost thing you need to do is create a good folder system. So Premiere has to work. Okay, you need to create a good folder system. So all files and folders involved in the same project, okay, has to be in the same folder. So we did create a folder, and I believe it was, I forget what it was. Let me see, I have it here though. If we go to documents, okay, first of all, we asked you to call it your name, okay? So the folder at this point is going to be called your name, your last name, your name. Okay, it could be your first name, last name, doesn't matter. Whatever it is, it's something that you can identify with. Okay, and a lot of you may have a folder called Premiere, and then your name. Okay, that's fine as well. Ultimately, what's going to happen is I'd like you to create a folder system. Um, well, let's just do this. Premiere, the project name, okay, and in this case, it will be called. Well, let me see. We'll call it something, and then, or actually, let me just do this. It would be your name and then project. Okay, so we'll go ahead and keep it the way it is right now, and I will go ahead and add more things later. Okay, so and what you're going to do first of all is you're going to download these images, and of course the way to find those images, as I said before, you go into Google. Okay, and I'll do that right now. Okay, so you go into Google Classroom. It's a Friday night at 5:22 p.m. All right, so anyways, we're gonna go here, Advanced Graphics, and then what you'll do is click on Classroom, and then, as I mentioned before, downloadable media. Okay, that's where you need to be, and then if you click on this folder here, Unit 8, you'll have a whole bunch of videos to choose from, and I'll keep adding more to it. Okay, so right now the ones that I kind of wanted you to download were already being, you should have already downloaded. For instance, the cockroach, which is 9367. Okay, um, the the drive, okay, which is 9368. Okay, and then of course here you've got our gates, and then you've got the stream, and then of course I've got the sun pics. Okay, so that should have been showing up, but and of course I got amber waves of green. So I will go ahead and get those ready. Hopefully that'll show up soon. When you see this, it means that it's in the cloud and is being downloaded. And so normally, like I said, when I'm done with a project, I kind of move it away. And so, anyways, here's the sun. And remember this one, okay, we showed this one. Kind of goes, and there's a sun, crazy sun. And then, of course, here's the amber waves of green with some music in the background, okay? All right, so if you have this, then we're ready to go. So the first thing I ask you to do is import. Okay, now there's three ways to import. We'll go ahead, three ways to import. And I think I also, let me, if I'm not mistaken, I've also had this written, and unfortunately I closed Classroom, so let me go back in there. I don't know what's going on. There we go. Google has been kind of glitchy, and I don't know why. Something that you don't expect from a trillion-dollar company. Okay, so here we go. And then we're going to go to classwork, and then we have class notes, and let's see what we got over here. Okay, so this was a 1022, and here, like I said before, we import files the three methods. The first method is the menu system, the file import. So I'm going to go ahead and import one file. And by the way, if you have any images in here, okay, you can, like I said, I don't see why this thing is kind of showing up here. There's no files here, so must be something weird happening to the software. But the first way is file import. So you go to file import, and I go to the folder where I have those videos. So let's go ahead. The first one I'm going to choose is the car. So 9368 there. I'm going to press import. Okay, and there it is right there. And if I click on that, okay, now it comes correctly. All right, the next way we bring in stuff, and I'm trying to find where did my browser go? Okay, here it is. So the next way is have both Premiere and a folder system and drag the files over from the folder system into Premiere. So I'm going to do that right now. So here's my folder system, which is Finder. For a PC user, it could be the Explorer. So the next one I'm going to bring in, I guess I'll bring in the gates. So what it says is to drag it in, and I'm going to go ahead and drag this in, and there you have it. Okay, and those are the gates on our campus. Next one was, I gotta bring it back up again, is double click inside the project panel, and of course, and find the files. Okay, and that's what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to double click 1, 2, and notice Finder opens up. Now this time I'm going to choose what? I'm going to choose my stream. There we have it. Okay, and I'm also going to choose the amber grains of wave. Amber waves of grain. There you go. Alright, so now I've got the 4 videos that I want. Okay, there is the amber waves of grain, there's the driving on the sidewalk, there is the school gates, and there is the backyard stream. Okay, pretty cool. So the next thing I kind of did was creation of a bin. Okay, so why did I do that? On the lower right of the project is the bin icon. Okay, let's look at this. In the lower right, and it should be of the project panel. So let me rewrite that again. Project panel, okay, is the bin icon. Right there, you notice new bin. Okay, so if I click there, I'm just going to enter video. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and drag these into the bin. Notice I touch the file, then I touch the folder, video folder, and there you go. Now I can also drag it back out. Notice I'm highlighting everything and just simply drag out. Now it's not indented anymore, which means it's outside of the folder. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight, and there we have. And that's where I kind of like to keep it. Okay, moving right along. So the bin folder is inside Premiere. Okay, so bin folder is a folder inside Premiere, right? Okay. Next thing I want to talk about is the creation of a sequence. Now, the sequence is basically a series. Okay, now let me write this down. Okay, I kind of have to copy so I can get the format. So a sequence is a collection or a series of files that make up a I guess a film, okay, or a video. Okay, so that's basically what it is. Okay, I'll go ahead and remove that. And so you got to drag and drop, but however, you got to remember, um, Premiere, I'm just going to PR, always tries to match the sequence settings to the files. Okay, so it's important to you need to define the sequence settings first. Okay, so in other words, what is the size of the what is the size? So what I'm going to ask you to do is download the following file. Okay, and I'll show you. We got to go back into the folder that I have. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you to do is go back into the downloadable media, open this Unit 8 folder up, and there it is right there. And I'm going to ask you to download this PNG file right here. It's called 1920 by 1080. So I'm going to ask that you download that. Okay, if I can download, there we go. Or what I can do during class is email you this if it makes things better. And so once you do, you open up Finder, and here's another way where you can actually transfer files. Now I asked you in your downloads folder to create an alias called, based on your last name. And here's 1920, so 1920 by 1080. And if you didn't create this alias, what you can do is go drag, okay, first thing you can do is just press and hold, and notice how I'm carrying everything. Go to Documents, and then go right to, okay, I'm still pressing and holding, go right to your folder and just leave it there. And then from there, okay, you can drag it into Premiere. All right, there you go. Notice that that in itself is its own. So what is 1920 by 1080? Well, double click and notice it's pretty much just a blue screen. Why did I do that? Okay, well, let me show you why. Let me tell you why. Okay, to create a sequence, we have to create a sequence. And in order for that to happen, you need to go to File, New, Sequence. Okay, so I'll write that down. Okay, creation of a sequence. Okay, first of all, go to File, New, and then type in, and then enter sequence. All right, and then you get this familiar box. Okay, now what I'm looking for are these numbers right here. Okay, 1920 by 1080 V. Okay, H is height, V is vertical or up and down. Okay, horizontal is going across, vertical is going up and down. Okay, so for the most part, okay, you want to set the dimensions, okay, to, there it is right there. And of course I spelled dimensions wrong. Alright, so I can select this and this will work, or let's call this I don't know, practice 1. Okay, let's call this practice 1. Alright, there we go. And I can press OK, but before you press OK, I can also do this. Look at this, 1920, and drag that down. Okay, and let go. And now the sequence settings, okay, if I was to check the sequence settings, okay, the sequence settings, the way I find out the dimensions of this is I click on this, and sometimes when I hover over it, look at that, it says right there, okay, 1920 by 1080. Or if I right click on it and click on properties, it'll also, here's the dialog box here, it'll tell you right there. Okay, now I named this thing 1920 by 1080. I can easily change the name. Okay, so to change the name, I can go ahead and click here, just like we did in layers in Photoshop, and just rename it. Okay, let's what do we call it? We call this project 1. Okay, so let's just do that and call it project 1. It'll change there, it'll change here. Now watch what I do. Now I can actually highlight this, okay, this image here on the timeline, and remove it, and it will still maintain the sequence. Okay, now what I'd like to do is take all images, okay, and there will be some more, and I'm going to go ahead and create another bin. Okay, so down here, create a new bin, okay, and call it images, and I'm going to drag this in here. So you see now the images belong in the images folder, video belongs in the video folder. Okay, hopefully you're not lost yet. So if not, stop, and you may want to rewind this video so you understand everything. The next thing we did was we went ahead and again I talked about the project file, I talked about the source file, and of course remember your sequence, your workstation should look similar to mine. 3 panels, one long timeline, and if I was to click on each and every individual movie file here, I will be able to see an indication of what that file is. Alright, so that's that. So now in order to import, okay, there's a couple of things that I want to do. Okay, so let me see what the notes said. Alright, creation of sequence, which you did this. Okay, we talked just now. Now import, so grab from the project panel into timeline. Okay, so depending on what I want. Now if you notice here, okay, you should have an indication of how long this is going to be. It ends, obviously this is kind of a dumb thing, it starts at media start, obviously everything starts at 0, but it ends over here. Now I can go ahead and tell you to right click on this and select meta display, and you get this dialog box. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is ask you to uncheck media start, and again that kind of saves a little bit of time over there. I'll do it again. Okay, I move the cursor up here, I right click or control click, and notice it'll say media display, metadata display. I click on that, and then the very first one, it says Premiere Pro metadata. Okay, and you'll see that I have all these checks. All these things that are checked are what's going to be displayed up here. Alright, and so again, if I wanted to see all of it, I can drag this out a little bit and drag this out a little bit and kind of make it equal, and of course I can drag this out. Okay, there's just a lot in there, but I'm not going to pay attention to it. And so video endpoint, again another useless kind of thing there. So if I right click meta display data, click on the very top one over here, video endpoint. Okay, and I'm just going to press OK, and I'm just going to leave it alone. But anyways, you can tell how long the duration is going to be. Okay, so my thing is to put this one over here, the stream, and now there's a couple of ways I can import. The first way, of course, is to grab from the project panel into the timeline. So right here, this is the project panel, and I'm going to bring it down. So watch what I do. I'm going to bring this down. Okay, there I have it. Now that's kind of long, and right here it'll ask me, do I want to change the settings, or do I want to change keep existing settings? Well, remember, we set the settings. Okay, it was this number right here, 1920 by 1080. Okay, I want to keep that, so I'm going to go ahead and press keep existing settings. And the reason why this shows is because, again, if we were to right click, let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and well, anyways, I'll go ahead and say keep existing settings. But why did it ask me to do that? If you right click and look at properties, okay, you'll notice that the setting is at 1280 by 720. So that's smaller than what this video should be. In fact, I should actually keep everything at 1280 by 720. That's what we did last year. Anyways, for this practice we'll do this. So maybe I'll drag this guy in instead, okay, because 1920 by is kind of big. But anyway, so we'll just keep that in mind. Alright, so now you notice many of you may have a rather long kind of footage here. Well, the reason why it's long is because notice the scroll bar down here is short. So what we got to do is just kind of drag it out, and that's doable right there. Okay, so drag out the scroll bar in the bottom and it'll adjust accordingly. So do that. And like I said, anytime that this video that you're not getting something, stop the video and pause and kind of rewind and look through it again. Alright, so now it says you can grab from the source panel from the middle of the video into the timeline. Well, that's fine. You know, what if you hear this right now? What if I don't want, okay, that's pretty good actually. So what if I want to put something right next to it? Let's go ahead and find another footage, okay? And let's go ahead and see movie 9374. And I go over here and, well, that's not very short. Well, anyways, this gives me an opportunity. This time I'm going to ask you to grab from the source into the panel, okay, into the timeline. So I click here first, then I go over here, okay, and I'm going to grab from the middle of the footage, and then I'm going to drag in. You see that? There we have it. Alright, pretty cool. So the next way, of course, is to, and we'll call this import into timeline. Well, that's what we're doing right now. Grab from the source panel of the middle of the video into timeline. Alright, well that's good. So that's what we did right now, and as you can see, don't worry about sizing this, okay? You hear voices in the back, and then it goes through here. So every video is kind of small, and I think maybe because 1900 is a little bit too big, so from now on we've learned our lesson. We could shrink it though, but I'll I'll do that later. Let me see, sequence settings. So yeah, well, maybe I could shrink it now, but anyways, I don't want to throw too many things at you. You see right here. Let's go to 1280. I don't know why I'm trying. I can just type in there. Yeah, never mind. Cancel. Okay, that didn't happen. Alright, so anyways, we got, like I said, we're just gonna, I get curious sometimes, and so, alright, so the next thing is that what if I only want a portion of this video here? Only portion, not the beginning, not the end, but right in the middle. Alright, well a good one would be, let's do this one. Well, let me see. Well, maybe that's not the one I want. Let's go ahead and do amber waves of green. Okay, like say for instance, I only want the music part. Okay. Or maybe I don't want the music part, but I only want like maybe right after. So let's say I just want, let's say about a minute of this. Okay, so I'm going to move the playhead to about, say, a minute. Okay, watch what I do. First I do the playhead for about a minute, and if I can't get it exactly a minute, I just go ahead and type it in. Okay, so 60. Okay, and then frame, put it 0. Alright, there we have it right there. It's exactly a minute right there. Okay, minute 2, whatever. Alright, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press on this icon right here. Remember, I'm trying to get only a portion of this video here. So I'm going to click here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to scrub this across and go until this here says 2 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to scrub and go across. Let's see if I can get to 2. There it is. 2, right about there is cool enough. Okay, and then I'm going to press the mark out icon right here. Now you look at this. I wish I could scroll in, but I guess I can't. Alright, so here we go. So there we have it. And now what I'd like to do is I'm going to drag from there to here. There it is. That's exactly 1 minute worth of footage. See that? Now notice how it kind of goes off screen. Okay, it goes way out there. And so what I can do is just kind of stretch out a little bit. Okay, and there we have it. Okay, now I can see everything. So the more I use this scroll bar here, down here, to kind of control what I see. Alright, so now we've got a portion of this. So in other words, here, instead of saying, okay, import into the timeline, okay, so then I'm going to put down to obtain a portion of a video. Okay, what I got to do is okay, select the in and out in point, let's just call it in out point. Okay, all right, and those are the two kind of like symbol, those brackets, and then drag from the middle of the video into the timeline. And the thing is that these two options here, if I grab something middle of the video into the timeline, okay, and I'll put that as a note. Okay, when grabbing from the middle of the video into the timeline, I am grabbing both, or I am importing both the audio and video components. Okay, so you notice that. Well, what if I only like the music here? I just want the music. I don't want the amber waves of grain. Alright, well, we'll see. Let's go over here, and I'm going to stretch out my source a little bit more, and I'm going to go ahead and grab this selection and move it over right to the beginning. And if I push the playback out, okay, I just want the music. Here we go. Perfect. Well, guess what? It's exact. So 1 minute. Now remember these two symbols over here. This one is drag video only. This one is drag audio only. So let's go ahead and drag the audio only. And I'm going to go ahead and drag this out and put it in the audio channel. Check it out. Pretty cool. Okay. Awesome. So now we've got only audio but no video. Well, what are we going to do about that? What's the point of this? Well, that's fine. And what I'd like for you to do now is go ahead and take a breather, stop working, and I'll come back in a few minutes, okay? And when you're ready, let's continue again. Okay, so we have patriotic music here that is got no video. So what I'd like you to do now is go back into Google Drive, and and by the beginning of class I should have let you know already, but what I did was there is a US flag for 5 minutes, okay? And what I can do is push it out to you guys. If you didn't download it, you should have downloaded. Cannot scan. So whenever you see this right here, you can just ignore it. And basically it's just going to go ahead and download. Okay, we'll give it a couple of seconds to download. Alright, so it did download, and if you're using a Mac, you should see this little kind of thing here, and show in Finder is what I normally choose. And now, of course, I had another Finder open, and this time I'm going to go ahead and find my Documents folder, and then I'm going to find my folder, and I'm just going to drag it from one to another. Okay, US flag. There's several different ways. Of course, I could have gone, if you don't want to use two finders, then basically, like I said, you can create an alias here, which I showed you the other day, and if you need me to show you again, I'll do that. But a lot of times you can actually do this right. Hold on a second. Okay, so a lot of times what we can do is we can find the flag around here and just drag it. And it's not here anymore, but at any rate, I went ahead and I already moved it to my documents folder. And well, let me show you one more time how to move it. So I'm going to go to my, here it is right here. So I started the flag inside the downloads folder. Okay, and one more time, I'm just going to do it. Here it is. I'm just going to press and hold and then drag. And this is for Mac users only. So documents and then go to Hague and then just place it in here. And or you know what you can do is this. If I put it back to downloads, okay, I can just one by one move it to one folder at a time. I can click, go into documents, okay, just leave it there, and then click, go into Hague, and leave it in there, okay, and just like I'm moving one folder at a time. So Windows people can do that as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and drag, okay, or double click, and there it is right there, okay. So I'm going to double click and I import. Okay, so I double clicked in here and there it is, and I'm going to put this into the video folder. I'm going to put in the flag into the video folder. There it is right there, and I'm going to double click on USA flag. And again, I just need a minute of this. So I'm just going to move the playhead to about, actually I'm just going to do this. Here we go. So let's do 1 0 0 0 0 0. Let's see if we can happen there. Oops, nope, that didn't do it. Let's go back to the very beginning, and I want to try to hit it to 1. Oh, I had it. 126. Okay. So now this is where I'm going to put the in point. In. That's this guy right here. And then what I'm going to do is kind of drag it all the way as close that I can. Okay. And then here's 201. I'm going to scrub it a little bit left. Right about there is good. Maybe more. I guess I can go more. Okay. Oh, yep. Okay, I'll stop right there. So that's about a minute, and then I'm going to press the out point. Now all I want is the video portion. I don't need the audio portion of this footage. So I'm going to grab this little icon right here. See, drag video only. And I'm going to click it and drag it, and there it is right there. Okay, and it's almost the same. So now if I move the move the playhead way over here, right about here, and press the space bar, there it is. So it's different than what we hear here, if we hear anything. Well, it's empty. Well, anyways, so that's even better because now this didn't come with any audio, but it came with video. Okay, so that's it. Okay, we're going to stop right here. Please go ahead and save your work. Okay, and we'll talk more in class.